The hum of the Gulf Stream's engines is a low, vibrating growl that resonates in the very marrow of my bones, a constant reminder of the thin line between safety and the abyss. Inside the cabin, the air is pressurized, sterile, and thick with a scent that has come to define my waking hours, Isabella's signature sandalwood, mixed with a crisp, clean aroma of Italian leather and the expensive champagne sweating in crystal flutes. I am sitting across from her, my laptop a useless weight on my knees, while she stares out the window at the endless expanse of the Atlantic. The late afternoon sun pours through the portals, turning her icy blonde hair into a halo of spun gold, a stark contrast to the sharp, dark lines of her tailored ivory blazer. She hasn't spoken since we took off from Teterboro, her silence a heavy physical presence that fills the small cabin until I can barely breathe. I find myself tracing the line of her jaw with my eyes, memorizing the way her throat moves when she swallows, the way her pulse point flutters against the high collar of her silk shirt. We are heading to London for the most important merger of her career, but all I can think about is the danger of being this close to her for 6 hours without the safety net of the office staff or the ringing phones. Every time the plane tilts, my knee brushes against hers, and the contact is like an electric shock that leaves my skin tingling for minutes afterward. She doesn't pull away. She doesn't even acknowledge it. She simply continues to watch the clouds, her expression a mask of professional detachment that I know is a lie. I've seen the way she looks at me when she thinks I'm sleeping. I've felt the weight of her gaze on the back of my neck. In this pressurized tube of steel and luxury, the power dynamic feels different. There are no boardrooms here, no secretaries' desks to hide behind. There is only the two of us, suspended in the blue, and the suffocating realization that I would do anything just to hear her say my name without the icy edge of authority. I can feel the tension winding tighter and tighter, a spring coiled to the point of breaking, and as the pilot announces a patch of rough weather ahead, I realize that the storm outside is nothing compared to the one brewing in the seat across from mine. The turbulence begins as a subtle shudder, a reminder that even at 30,000 feet, we are at the mercy of the elements. Isabella finally turns her head, her blue eyes meeting mine with a suddenness that makes my heart skip a beat. There is no warmth in them, only that familiar professional frost, but beneath the surface, I see a flicker of something raw, a vulnerability she usually hides behind spreadsheets and iron-fisted negotiations. "You're trembling, Elena," she says, her voice a low melodic rasp that vibrates in my chest. I didn't realize my hands were shaking until she pointed it out. I try to pull back, to regain my composure, but she reaches across the small mahogany table and covers my hand with hers. Her skin is surprisingly warm, her grip firm and possessive. This is the dance we've been performing for months. The lingering glances in the elevator, the accidental touches while exchanging files, the way her voice softens just a fraction when we are the only two left in the building. It is a slow burn torture that has redefined the meaning of my life. I find myself looking at her hand on mine, the contrast of her pale skin against my own, and a powerful internal question begins to scream in my mind. Does she hold me like this because she senses my fear, or because she's finally found an excuse to touch me? The routine of our professional lives feels 1,000 miles away, a ghost of a reality that doesn't belong in this sun-drenched cabin. Every time the plane dips, she tightens her hold, her thumb tracing the line of my knuckles in a way that is definitely not professional. I should pull away. I should remind her of the HR policies and the boundaries that keep our world from collapsing. But the way she's looking at me, with a mix of hunger and hesitation, makes it impossible to move. We are trapped in a golden cage, and for the first time, I don't want to be rescued. The silence between us has shifted. It's no longer cold, but heavy with the weight of everything we've suppressed. I watch her lips as she prepares to speak again, wondering if the next words out of her mouth will be the ones that finally shatter the mask she's worn so perfectly for so long. If you are feeling the tension between them as much as I am, please leave a like and subscribe to Meeting Her. And tell me in the comments, which city are you watching this story from today? I'd love to know where our romance is traveling to. Suddenly, the floor drops out from beneath us. The plane lurches violently to the left, the crystal flutes shattering against the cabin wall as the fastened seatbelt sign chimes with an ominous urgency. The bright, vivid sky outside turns a bruised purple as we plunge into the heart of the storm. In the chaos of the movement, Isabella is thrown forward, and before I can think, she's out of her seat and kneeling in the narrow aisle between us, her arms wrapping around my waist to steady herself, and me. The forced proximity is no longer a subtext, it is a physical collision. Her face is inches from mine, her breath warm against my lips, her heart hammering against my chest in a frantic, wild rhythm. The plane bucking like a wild animal, but all I can feel is the pressure of her hands gripping my hips, pulling me close until there is no air left between us. "Stay with me," she whispers, her eyes wide and searching, the ICCO completely replaced by a woman who is terrified of losing the one thing she hasn't allowed herself to have. The breaking point is here. The tension that has been building for 6 months snaps under the pressure of the altitude and the adrenaline. I reach out, my fingers tangling in the soft silk of her shirt, pulling her even closer. Professional protocol has been left somewhere back on the runway. Here, in the middle of a lightning-streaked sky, we are just two souls clinging to each other for survival. She leans in, her full head pressing against mine, and for a second, the world stops spinning. The crash of the thunder outside is distant compared to the sound of her breath hitching as I slide my hands up to cup her face. "Isabella," I breathe, and the way she reacts to her name, the way her eyes flutter shut and her grip on me tightens, is the only confession I've ever needed. The turbulence tosses the cabin again, but we don't move. We are locked in an embrace that feels like a homecoming and a betrayal all at once. The storm has stripped away her titles and my inhibitions, leaving us raw and exposed in the brilliant, amber emergency light of the cabin. She moves her hand to the back of my neck, her fingers possessive, pulling my face toward hers until our lips are a hair's breadth apart. The landing in London is smooth, a sharp contrast to the emotional wreckage left in the cabin of the Gulfstream. As the wheels touch the tarmac, the morning sun breaks through the English fog, filling the plane with a brilliant white light that feels like an interrogation. We are still sitting close, the heat from our bodies lingering even as we pull apart to prepare for arrival. Isabella is already straightening her ivory blazer, her movements precise and practiced, but her eyes, those beautiful icy blue eyes, are different now. They carry a secret that wasn't there when we took off. She looks at me as I fix my hair, and for a heartbeat, the woman from the storm returns, her hand reaching out to touch my shoulder one last time before the doors open to the waiting chauffeurs and the flashing cameras. "Elena," she says softly, her voice carrying a weight of vulnerability that makes my knees weak. "What happened up there? It stays in the sky." It's a resolution and a threat all at once, a reminder that the world we are stepping into has no room for the truth we found at 30,000 feet. But as she walks down the air stairs, her silhouette sharp and commanding against the London skyline, I see the way she pauses, looking back at me with a gaze that is anything but professional. The power dynamic has shifted forever. She knows I have seen her fear, and I know that she has tasted my desire. We will go to the meetings, we will sign the contracts, and we will pretend to be the CEO and the secretary, but the silence between us will never be empty again. It will be filled with the ghost of that shared bed in the sky and the way her heart beat against mine. I follow her into the waiting car, my pulse still racing, realizing that the most dangerous part of this flight wasn't the storm. It's the landing, and the realization that I am now irrevocably bound to a woman who can never truly be mine in the light of day. This was only the beginning. If you missed the other stories on the channel, click on the video appearing on your screen right now. And get ready, because the next meeting will be even more intense. See you soon.